Shemai, Yasha'Allah, Yahweh, Allahai Nawa Yahweh, Chud. Shemai, Yasha'Allah, Yahweh, Allahai Nawa Yahweh, Chud. Shalom. Peace and salutations to the elect men and elder men diligently pushing forth the will and doctrine of Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai, day by day according to the true understanding of the scriptures. To all of you, I say Shalom. So, basically, this lesson, I'm just going by the spirit with it. And I say it was sparked due to a train of events that have happened in the past couple of days with me. But I'll say this: my elder brother, that's amongst my congregation, my beloved brother Mahar. He was like, which I'll give you more context to understand why he said what he said. But basically, he was like, take a picture and do a lesson on this, and basically, really, what I'll do is I'll start here. So, it's also about spirit. Six pictures of my coolant hose to my car, and basically, the brother he had helped me to replace it because basically the hose had like burst, and it's the way that the train of events had all happened. It's just by the spirit. But basically, was basically going to several brothers. You know what I'm saying? How we do. After our highways. And it's always for progression, growth. We don't bullshit what we do. What we believe, like it's inward and outward. Like it was by the spirit because during the highways, the brother had the brother said, they had mentioned not having a physical garment on him at a specific moment, and the brother had mentioned, it's about having it inwardly, and what had came to mind when he had said that is, just because you take your garment off, are you really taking your garment off? And that's something to think about as far as spiritually, right? Because though we have and we wear it physically, it's a symbol to help us remember to have, the Lord's words within us, to hold to our customs, to hold to our laws, to hold to the Lord's knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, to hold to the wisdom that he gives you, because he doesn't give it to everybody. But that was basically just the thought process I had in that moment. With mentioning that, but I was already on my way with the garment to give the brothers, because it's not like we need to wear. I'm not wearing mine right now doing this lesson, but I'm wearing it spiritually. We wear it spiritually, so I say all that basically say, like, needless to say, it's inward outward. We always wearing it, so we always progressing. We always keeping our mind stayed on the Lord, But that said, in a moment of further building, if you will, right? Basically, the hose on my vehicle had burst. basically like due to it dry rotting. And this is basically what you see. You know, as far as what happened with the hose. And in this specific moment, because this is after we done already fixed it. You know what I'm saying? A day later, basically, right? Because it was late. You know what I'm saying? As far as initially being with the brother, but the next day, you know what I'm saying, we handled it, took care of it, and the whole process was how would I say, tedious. It was very tedious just due to the location of where the hose was at, and there's clamps that hold the hose. You know what I'm saying, to how would I say, to like the openings that they supposed to be connected to. To say the least, right? Lots of words, but where the clamps was at. You know what I'm saying? Because the way you loosen and tighten is through a little screw, and where it was at, it was like in such a small position that it was like it was hard, because we tried a slew of different ways of how to try to get it loosened. And we going through all these different solutions to try to find the right one. You know what I'm saying? And we finally got it. It wasn't like it was like frustrating. You could say a little bit of an annoyance, just because it's it wasn't like quick and easy. But nonetheless, it was like a test, because not everything we deal with is gonna be quick and easy. And it's like these are the moments that we are to use as experience to prove the Lord's word, to prove His understanding. You know what I'm saying? Prove the knowledge and wisdom that we get. And that's gonna tie me into the first scripture I have, basically up. But to cap this off before I get into it, right? Basically, in this moment when taking the pictures, you know what I'm saying? I'm taking the pictures while the brother holding it, but he going on to say like, cause I was like we could throw that away, and he's like take a couple pictures of it, or really he was like, you should, but knowing like the brothers that I'm with, and understanding them, you know what I'm saying, like truly, because we really take the time to really. It's like, any good team in the league, basketball, you know what I'm saying, they got to have a good rapport. They got to have good team chemistry, you know what I'm saying, on and off the court, because that just helps them to be able to be dominant completely when it comes, you know what I'm saying, to being in the game, But nonetheless, I just say that just because knowing the brothers I be with, they don't just say things for no reason. You know what I'm saying? There's always purpose. There's always intent, So, with him saying that, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, let me do that, Especially what he's saying, I'm like, that's of the spirit. So I got you, So I take the pictures, and as I'm taking the pictures, he mentioned how the hose looked like a serpent, and he also mentioned how you could hear the Lord in the background too. That's how the Lord woke me up today. But he was mentioning how like this really like Esau, like he decaying, like this hose. And this hose is weak, it's fragile, it's got all these different schisms, all these different breaches are within it, to where it's no good. Man, it's interesting because the new hose was a lot smaller, because the hoses they expand, just due to heat, pressure, time, you know what I'm saying, of like the coolant going in and out of it, you know what I'm saying. it being amongst the ancient and things like that, right? However, basically, right? But just looking at it, this is why the picture is taken. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a symbol, if you will, right? As far as like the whole encounters. You know what I'm saying? And these are the things that the brother mentioning. So the Lord woke me up today. It was like, go ahead, do that. Handle that real quick. And I'm like, playing back the words the brother said, you should do a lesson. He only said it once. It wasn't like because it's not him trying to force it, but basically it's like he planted it. You know what I'm saying? He planted the seed. I'm watering it. You know what I'm saying? The Lord willing, the Lord get an increase on this. For others to be able to receive the message. But I ain't trying to be too long-winded without grabbing the scriptures. But needless to say, right? You can see this being a symbol, of Esau and his world. You know what I'm saying? And his rulership and this world that he has now. It's not built nor meant to last. And knowing what's been given from the Lord, and knowing what He promised to us, and to those that have their mind stayed on Him, have their actions stayed on Him, and they're living to please Him, living to praise Him, living to glorify Him, right? They're gonna receive those promises, right? And they're also gonna receive the kingdom that is to come. Because in order for that kingdom to come, this one has to come down, and that's what you see with this. It's like a serpent with no head. You know what I'm saying? And the body already decaying. It's like the Ouroboros. You know what I'm saying? It's like basically like it's basically like how you would see like the snake eating its tail, basically going on to eat itself. And it's like just using that as a parallel to this, because it's like basically like the head been eaten, if you will. As far as it being this whole looking like a snake, how it's built, but having no head to it. And then you seeing like in like the specifics, like this. The strip, the wear and tear, and the orange pieces that you see, it's really white, but it's just due to the coolant. It looked like that, you know what I'm saying? But, the brother, he had mentioned the coolant is like the blood for the car, It need the coolant, it need the blood for the engine, you know what I'm saying, the heart to fully function, right? So, it's like you able to see, if you will, you know what I'm saying, like the life source disconnected, within these pictures, And if you see like that little bit of white there, that's like a breach, because really it's just like the opening like this here, you know what I'm saying, where the light shining through, basically, right? But yeah, so I'm just flowing through the spirit. I had a couple of scriptures that came to mind, you know what I'm saying, just as far as with the lesson, but I ain't got nothing written down or nothing like that, so we're just gonna hop straight into it, and Lord willing, this be edifying. So this is Matthew chapter 10 and verse 16. It says, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents, and harmless as doves." And this always a good scripture to get when speaking on being circumspect, having discernment, keeping your head on a swivel, you know what I'm saying, staying on top of your P's and Q's, if you will, right? ultimately, you know what I'm saying, to tie it into where all those quotes are saying is, you know what I'm saying, originate from keeping our house in order, right? And we keeping our house the way that you keep your house in order is, you know what I'm saying, keep your mind right, you know? And the Lord is speaking for real, you know. It's beautiful. I love to hear the thunder. Um, but in the times that we in now, you know what I'm saying, we gotta really hold to what the Lord give us, you know. You gotta really hold to the wisdom that's given, you know. You can't take it lightly, you know, at all. You take the Lord wisdom lightly, he'll take it away from you. And that's not something that I don't want, so I'm not gonna do, you know, but you shouldn't either. You know what I'm saying? For those that's listening, we shouldn't. Those that's truly of the Lord, truly seeking the Lord, you know what I'm saying, truly of a righteous spirit, you know, that those that are seeking the kingdom. So with us being amongst the world that we in, we seeing how, or that day is further approaching. We want to make sure that we are being circumspect. We using discernment. We applying the wisdom that's given, paying attention to what's going on, paying attention to what the Lord trying to show you, and with you taking heed to it, executing what it is that needs to be executed, you know, as far as what the Lord asks of you, and not going above or below your measure, doing what is just right, you know, doing what is well with the Lord. And we got to do that specifically because Satan doing everything he can to get us, to knock us off our swivel, to prevent us from growing, to prevent us from being amongst the right spirit, you know, to prevent you from gaining that increase. Satan doing all that he can to devour us, you know, and the way that we prevent that is by constantly staying under the you know what I'm saying, the wings, if you will, of the Lord, you know, being in His presence, you know, and that's why you think about the scriptures that say when two or three are gathered in my name, there am I in the midst of them, you know, like to do that, you got to be amongst others that are in like mindedness, in like spirit, you know, and with you doing that, it only helps fine tune the gears of your mind, the gears of your spirit, with like the right tools and components, and you know what I'm saying, materials that's of the Lord, you know. It's like how you get what do they call it? You get like third when you dealing with, you know what I'm saying, like fixing the engine or whatever, right? You know, you get the like the third party or the offshoot brand, you know, materials that's, you know, that's good, that'll last like a year or two, or you know what I'm saying, something small, right? Versus in comparison to, like, you know, you getting the material that's got the lifetime warranty, you know, the best of the best, you know what I'm saying, the creme de la creme, you know, the high quality materials, tools, you know what I'm saying, things like that, to where you have the best outcome for this to for, you know what I'm saying, whatever part of the car to be, you know what I'm saying, at its best, at his best performance, and his, you know what I'm saying, best what's the word I'm looking for? You know, basically being in the best position that it can be to strive the longest, you know? For those that's understanding what I'm saying. But with you being amongst men in like manner, you know, you and when I say in like manner, that's um being gathered, you know what I'm saying, in the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Being gathered in his name and what come with his name, which is life. You only gonna produce that. The whole situation as far as with the car is like Satan trying to hold back or prevent things from growing. He trying to keep brothers stagnant or prevent brothers from being able to build the foundation how it need to further grow. But he can't do that if we on point, if we where we need to be at. He can only get you where you weak at. But if you not weak in certain areas, he can't get you there. And that's why that's why we are to be wise. That's why we are to basically it's like knowing your enemy better than he know himself, but basically like your enemy so well, you move and maneuver in a way to where you not making it easy for your enemy to get to you. It's like how they say keep your friends close but your enemies closer. You gotta really sit like meditate and learn how Satan work. How he try to get at you, and with you doing that, then you build up what could be a breach, or you know what I'm saying, what wall isn't fortified to, you know what I'm saying, its best ability. How you do that is you use the materials of the Lord, which is his word, his knowledge, his wisdom, his understanding, proving it, experiencing it, and applying it in the moments that you go about your day to day, because it's this the world, they separate the word from their life when your life is the word. Like that's what it needs to be. So Satan setting up everything he can to try to get at us, those wolves, whether it be men that's within the realm of, you know what I'm saying, the world of Israel, that's not of the Lord's chosen Israel, But you gotta be circumspect to be able to discern and see who is who and what is what. The way that you're doing that is applying his wisdom, taking heed to the word, taking heed to what's said to you from men that are righteous, that have been set up, you know what I'm saying, by the Lord to tell you. The Lord ain't set up men just for no reason. That's why you got to take heed to what's said or what's told to you, what you hear from men that's doing right, men that have the rapport, the portfolio, if you will, of or the results of taking heed to the Lord's word, not knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and having basically good come to them. It's like Matthew 5:16. You know what I'm saying? Let your light so shine before men that they may, glorify the Lord, roughly paraphrasing. Right? Cause I want to say your good works. I'm gonna get it real quick because I don't want to butcher it. Yeah, kind. Matthew 5:16. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Where it says that they may see your good works, right? You going on to apply the Lord's word. Those men that you see that have the results, right? Based off of them holding to the Lord's word, those, you know what I'm saying, you see the results that have come, basically the cause and the effect, right? the effects, the results of them holding to this, you know what I'm saying, holding to that of the Lord's word, you able to see, okay, good has come from it. Okay, so this is something that's been proven. Okay, I see this makes sense. Okay, there's wisdom here. Let me hold to that, you know? Let me see how I can use that within myself, within my life, within my life, you know, within my walk. Not trying to be like someone else, but seeing how the wisdom can be applied to yourself and how you can make it good for you to be able to get results, you know? And it's all for the glory of the Father, you know? So, just jumping back to that Matthew 10 and 16 again, it says, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves." You know, we not trying to get caught up in the midst of shit. So that's why we, you know, that's why we stay in our sanctuary, you know. Stay where we can have peace, you know, because the world is is crazy wicked, you know. You go outside, there's so much shit to be subject to, you know. That's why we move. That's why we move so cautiously. That's why we move circumspectly, you know. We not trying to put ourselves in a position to where Satan can get to us, you know. And what am I thinking of? Yeah, I'm gonna get this real quick. Just because I mentioned it. So this is 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. It says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour." You see? So Satan doing everything he can to try to devour us, you know? But what does it mean to be sober? To be vigilant. We can grab that real quick. Says
Strong's G 3525. NAFO. NAFO.
so. This is nafo, in the word for sober in the Greek. It says right here in the outline of biblical usage, to be sober, to be calm and collected in spirit. Man, to be temperate, dispassionate, circumspect. Right here, it says to be sober, to watch. It says be discreet, be sober. Yeah. It says to abstain from wine, keep sober, you know. And what happens when you drink wine, you know? Feel a little loose, you know. You know, we don't drink to get drunk, but you know, there's a reason for that, cause then you not in full control, you know, of yourself, and you know what I'm saying, and making sure that you know you not susceptible to spirits taking hold of you, you know. But you know the points here, to be calm and collected in the spirit, to be temperate, you know. Those are all good things that's needed and given from the Lord. You know, those are traits that you want to hold to. When all hell break loose, everybody scrambling, faint-hearted, dying, having strokes, all, you know, however. But that ain't gonna be the case for the men of the Lord. You know, the way that you do that is you keep your mind occupied in what the Lord say. Cause with you knowing that these things are coming, it only puts you in a position to be prepared. It's like the 5 wise and 5 foolish virgins, right? The wise ones had the oil already on deck. They were prepared. So when the husband came, they able to have enough light upon their path to reach him. You know, before that door closed. You know, this is the time to get built up on that. Ain't to have no weak ass spirit. You know, Satan gonna be doing everything he can. He gonna be trying to throw everything he can at us. This is not the time to be on no weak shit. This is not the time to be faint hearted, right? And the way that you build yourself up with that is within your day to day. The things that we deal with on a day to day, you know. And all that I'm saying, you know, I'm saying that speaking to myself first and foremost, you know, because I'm not one to be a hypocrite, you know. I don't strive to do that, you know. So we are to be calm and collected in spirit. What's the word temperate going to? Yeah. Second one, it says self-restrained, moderate, self-controlled, disciplined, self-denying. Yeah. You refrain from certain things because you know your measure, you know? Austere. You know, that's one of the main traits of Yahweh Shai, of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, you know, being austere. And the third one says balanced, level-headed, sensible, rational, sober-minded, sober-sided, you know? So that's what we are to be here, right? And real quick, just going to that word, you know, let me do it like this real quick. Get that word vigilant as well. So that's vigilant in the Greek.
Strong's G 1127. Gregareo.
So vigilant says to watch. It says metaphor for give strict attention to, be cautious and active. You see, you can't just be sitting on your leaves thinking you're gonna be ready for when the Lord comes. You say you're gonna be coming as a thief in the night. If you think about it, we supposed to be like watchmen. What do watchmen do? You know, at all times of the day, they being circumspect, they paying attention, they watching out for any breach, any schism, anything that's off, that's not a part of the natural daily program, you know, of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Anything that come outside of that, that's like how the scriptures say, what is that? I want to get that. That's a good one. It's John 10:1. It says, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. It says, but he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. And the point is in verse 1, right? With those watchmen, they looking to make sure you just they think of a castle, you know. You got like what do they call it? Not like the lighthouse, but basically, you know, they got certain positions that's all throughout the outer wall, you know, that compasses the whole kingdom, if you will, right? And you got men that's on top of it that's keeping watch on all sides of the keeping watch of you know what I'm saying, of the wall and what's going on, you know, amongst the wall, you know. You got the entrances that are that you know you are able to go in and out of. But if you see somebody trying to climb up some other way, you know, they gonna spot you. Cause there's a system that's held, that's to be kept, you know. Somebody try to come up some other way, you gonna be looked at as a thief and a robber. They not getting in, you know. So that's why we are to be circumspect like that, right? But jumping back to that First Peter, if you're not coming correctly, you're not getting in, you know. So finishing here, right? Give strict attention to, be cautious, active, right? It says to take heed lest through remission and and indolence some destructive calamity suddenly overtake one. Man, that's heavy. That's what happens when you not being circumspect, when you not being wise as a serpent. You not paying attention to your enemy and not paying attention to your enemy's motives. You know, we understand with being amongst the Lord and being being in the Lord's word. We understand that what's to come is Satan doing everything he can to try to destroy us before his time is up. You know, because of what's to come after that, which is us receiving the kingdom, with us receiving all that's been promised to us, the inheritance. You know, this world being completely eradicated. You know, and Esau, Edom, getting put in slavery for for him forwarding the affliction of the Lord's people. You know, caused great affliction. Read that in Obadiah. Read that in I think that's Zephaniah 1:15. You know, the sword is pleased with the heathen. You know, they forward the affliction. So, with you paying attention to your enemy, you not in a position to where some destructive calamity can suddenly overtake you. You know, because you being you tapping into his mind and how he do. You know, so you tapping into his mind, you can stay 10 steps ahead of him while he's still five behind. You know. Can you see here in the Strongs? It says to keep awake, man. It says be watchful, right? So yeah, so that's the point right there. And then I also want to get this right here. This is Revelation 9 and Revelation 12 and verse 9. It says, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan. You see, which deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And I'm gonna read verse 12 right here, because this is Esau's fate, you know, and this all you can see with this, you know. There's some weak magic. Satan world, Esau world ain't finna last for much longer. You know, call on Yahweh Shema Shai. You know, his reign on the Lord been speaking. You know, and the sun ain't been out, the clouds covering it, but the sun coming out right now. You know, that's all beautiful and beautifully put. You know what I'm saying, on point, because a storm coming, but just as it come, it also go. So that storm gotta pass, and when that storm pass, it's our turn. You know, that storm coming not for us, but to take away all the weak and wicked shit, you know, away from us. And that storm is coming from the Lord, from Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, you know. But Revelation 12:12, it says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens," you see, "and ye that dwell in them," right? Those that keep in their minds on the Lord. Where's the Lord at? In the heavens. You know, we have our conversations in the heavens. It says, "Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." You see, Satan gonna be doing all that he can to try to get rid of you. That's why you got to know who you are, know who you are to the Lord, know your position with the Lord, and work to be the best at your position that you can be, to please the Lord, to help the Lord, to be in position for the Lord to want to use you, you know. And in return, he gonna bless you. But we gotta hold to, keep our head, you know, on a swivel, making sure that we firmly rooted, making sure that we firmly founded, you know. We not founded upon the sand where there ain't no structure. We founded upon the rock of the Lord, you know. We not here to play around with the serpent. Nah, we being wise like him, but we not putting ourselves in a position to get bit by him, because who gonna pity a termite, you know? Who gonna pity somebody that put themselves in a position to get bit? So this just a reminder of that, you know. Be cautious. Keep your head on a swivel. Pay attention to what's going on. Get your house in order. Meditate and examine thyself. You know, examine yourselves. Whether you be in the faith, prove what's good to it. You know, prove what's evil for it. Don't give to that. You know what I'm saying? You knowing, you self denying, right? Is you refraining from certain things that's evil for you, right? But in order for you to know that, you got to put in the work. You got to look. You got to prove the Lord's word and how it fits to you. How can you do what the Lord, what pleases the Lord? You know, you gotta constantly be aware and constantly be on top of these things. You know, and it's just you know, just a beautiful situation. even though, you know what I'm saying, something broke, it was able to be fixed with something better, you know? So that's pretty much the point. That's pretty much it. You know, I ain't gonna draw it out no more than I already did. But, you know, Lord willing, everything that was said was enough, sufficient, you know, and something that you could really take heed to, hold to, you know, and learn from. So with that, I'm gonna say Kahal Allah, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Actually, hold on, Slakia. I want to get one last scripture. One last scripture. This is 2 Corinthians 4 and verse 4. It says, in whom the God of this world, right, and the God of this world is that old serpent, you know, called the devil and Satan, who deceived the whole world, right? It says, in whom the God of this world have blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach, who is the image of God, should shine unto them. It says, for we preach not ourselves, but Hamashiach Yahushua, right, which is Christ Jesus, who the world ignorantly calls Christ Jesus, because his true name in the Lashon Kodash, the holy tongue, is Yahweh, or Salakia, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh, by Hashem in the name Yahweh Shai, right? Yahweh being the Most High, He is, right? And Yahweh Shai being, He's salvation. He is the salvation, right? But it says, but Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, the Lord, and ourselves, your servants, for Hamashiach's sake. It says, for God, who commanded the light to shine out of darkness, right? And that light is that wisdom. That light is his word. That light is what's given to us, you know, to where we so shine in likeness. You know, that's like that Matthew 5 and 16, right? But that light being shown through the darkness, it allow everything that's within darkness to be seen. With it being seen, now you know how to address it. Now you able to address it, and now you able to move how you need to. We're dealing with it, you know. But it says, for God who commanded the light to shine out of darkness has shined in our hearts, you see, to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Yahushua Hamashiach. It says, but we have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellency of the power may be of God and not of us. You see, we getting our spirits on point and prepared and ready, so that way we good. You know, we getting the kingdom in our spirits, in our minds now, so that way we in position to receive all that is to come of what's been promised. New bodies, you know, being able to tap into the power of the Lord completely, you know, on a whole nother level. It says, we are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not forsaken. Cast down, but not destroyed. It says, always bearing about in the body the dying of the Lord Yahweh Shai, that the life also of Yahweh Shai might be made manifest in our body. It says, "For we which live are always delivered unto death for Hamashiach's sake, that the life also of Yahushua might be made manifest in our mortal flesh." It says, "So then death worketh in us, but life in you." Yeah, and it's really, this whole chapter is good, you know. But 'cause I ain't trying to have it be long winded. But basically, you know, the point of me reading what I'm reading is we gotta, again, it's just further add to the point. The Lord give us that light of knowledge, right? That's His wisdom, His knowledge, His understanding, and we are to utilize it to get built up. We gonna have things thrown at us. We gonna be put in positions to where, you know, we hit with the things Satan trying to hit us with. You know, there's gonna be moments that you gonna be tried. You know, but based off of what you do and how you act and how you move is going to determine the outcome of those things, right? And if you move correctly, you move wisely, you move according to how the Lord has directed us to, you're gonna be able to make it out. You're gonna be able to come out on top, you know, because the things we go through is only for the better. Because I'm gonna just jump to the point, right? This is 2 Corinthians 4:16, and I'm gonna just read all the way through to 18. It says, "For which cause we faint not, but through our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory." You see, you gotta keep pushing. Satan hits you with some shit, you ain't just supposed to sit there and just turn over and die. You ain't just supposed to sit in the shit. You know, something break, you fix it. You know, we were broken. The Lord fixed us. You know, before coming into this. For those that are truly about this, so that's something to keep in mind. That's something to hold to. You know, there's greatness. There's greatness waiting for you at the end of this road. You just got to make it there. You know, Satan putting obstacles in your path to try to prevent you, but you under the power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. Ain't no weapon formed against you. You know, Satan could try, but those are of the righteous. Those are of the Lord. Those are just men. Even if they fall, they're gonna get back up. They're gonna get back through His wisdom, through His knowledge, through His understanding, through the experience that they have built, through applying His word, through holding to His word, through holding to the word that has been given from the men that the Lord has set up, you know, and those that He has set up amongst your life for you to physically see or to virtually see, but ultimately to hear, you know, and when I say hear, to understand. Verse 18, it says, "While we look not at the things which are seen, but the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. We can't see the kingdom that's to come just yet, but in the spirit we can. And it's the spirit too, because before I woke up, I had like a snippet dream, if you will. Like basically I seen a chariot that was coming down from the sky, and it was like rotating. Similar to like how you see in the what's that movie? Strange Encounters with the what is it? With the fifth kind, the fourth kind, I forget the title. But basically how you see the chariot at the end, how when it's flying away it's like spinning, you know? Like basically the chariot I seen, it was coming down but it was rotating, you know, like doing a 360 as far as how it was moving. And it was moving so fast. As it was coming down, it was rotating so fast that like you dang near see with all the lights, you see a crown. Like it's like basically the chariot's visage showed the crown, you know, and all the lights that was around the chariot basically lit up like stones on the crown, you know, and it was just beautiful that the Lord showed me that, you know. It's like I seen that, and then the Lord woke me up, you know what I'm saying, through the thunder of his voice, you know. So that's pretty much it. You know, you just gotta make sure that you being circumspect, you being sober, vigilant, you know, taking heed to your enemy as far as paying attention to his objective and what he trying to do to you. And what you doing that you able to be in the know of how to move, not giving to what's evil for yourself. And what you doing that in the moments that he may get the drop on you, you know, you able to stop, look at your position, look at where you are, and look for the solution, the resolution. How can I fix this? You know, and go right back into doing better. Go right back into doing good. Go right back into doing what pleased the Lord. You know, we not perfect because of these earthly vessels. You know, the bodies that we got, but we strive for the mastery of perfection. You know, to be perfect like the Lord. You know, like Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. So that's pretty much it. You know, and when the time come, he gonna make us perfect. So with that, I say, Kahalam La, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Wahara Kakwadash. Lord willing, I wouldn't write this out. This lesson been edifying. Shalom.